Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to be building a mass amount of MILS plates for my Lego city. Using brick and all the plate that I recently got, I want to convert all of this here into MILS. It looks way better than the exposed base plates there, and I want to convert all of this into MILS because that'll look a lot better than the exposed white tables. Not really feeling this vibe, and recently we received a ton of parts that are going to help us do that. Most importantly, we've got base plates, more base plates, 4x4 green plate, 16x16 green, light gray, and dark gray plate, and then all of the underlying brick that we're going to need, hopefully. Let's get started. Now, when I originally placed this order, I actually never ordered any 48x48 plates. I ordered all 32x32. Am I going to live to regret that? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't think so, because 48x48 is pretty close to 64x64, so you can see me creating 64x64 MILS plates. I'm using 4 of the 32x32s, and I'm topping them with the 16x16 plates. I space out my bricks every 6 studs, except for the ones in the corners, they're 5 studs, just because that's the way MILS is, or like around the edge or whatever, it's 5 studs instead of 6. And I'm actually doing something pretty weird here. I'm using slopes. So all of the bricks around the perimeter are slopes, 2x2 and also 1x2. It's funny, I was going through my drawers the other day in a video and I was saying, oh, I got all these slopes. They're really clogging up the works here. I don't really like this. What should I do with all these slopes? I guess I'm just going to pack them away or give them away or something. And I mentioned this like casually in a video, and somebody was like, well, duh, just use them as your MILS plate perimeter. You've been using 1x2s. It's the exact same thing. And I was like, what? What? Why didn't I think of that? Like, I guess I never really addressed the issue of having too many of those until recently. But thank you to whoever said that, because obviously just use those around the perimeter of your MILS plates and then you're going to clean up an entire drawer and get rid of a bunch of useless pieces. And now they're no longer useless. I'm using them in MILS plates. It's brilliant. So you saw me create a bunch of those 64x64s all in dark bluish gray, and then I created some 48x48s as well, and then some other sizes to fill in some of the awkward spaces within the tables, such as 64 studs by 32, and even 80 studs by 32, so that's 2.5 base plates by 1. The stack is growing, and now it's time to unleash the green. So all the 16x16s are actually shipped to me like this. They came in these giant bags. And then there's 6 layers of, or 6 plates per layer, and a piece of cardboard between each one. High quality shipping, that's for sure. But I need them all. I need them all, I tell ya. So I'm gonna dump them all out. I don't know what the most efficient way of doing this is. Probably something along the lines of this. Now that is satisfying. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough of these, but the base construction that I'm building now might not be like finalized. These are just like bulk MILS plates. So I don't know if it's gonna like remain flat like this. I might be like modifying them based on what I'm doing in a specific area. But I just want to get that table covered so I can start mapping things out, because it's hard to map things out without studs. And then there's not a whole lot of underlying brick when you're working with 16x16, so it's easy enough to just change it. But the section that I need to cover is 4 base plates by 14 base plates. So I need to build 14 of the 64x64 MILS plates, 14 of them to cover that section, because it's 14 by 4, so I need 7 by 2, so I need to build 14 of them. I don't know if this is going to be enough, but I've got a bunch of 4x4 plate, and if it's not enough, I can transition into using light or dark gray, because a lot of those are just going to be like base structure, and we're going to build up from there. But I'm going to try and use all of these. That is a ton of green plate. What a sight for sore eyes. I've never ordered the 16x16 dark green plates. That's what they call them on the Lego website. Dark green. Don't confuse it with forest green. Just creating some more of the 2x2 ones, like the 2x2 base plate ones. I've got to create a bunch of them, as I mentioned there. And I can't believe it. this is pretty much going to consume all of my 16 by 16 green plates that I purchased, which is insane because I bought a lot of them. And I don't think I'm going to have enough plate to MILS plate the entire city. But with that said, I'm talking about just the 16 by 16s. I've got a bunch of 4 by 4 and I've got a bunch of other stuff, and eventually I'll be cycling a lot of these or transitioning them into 4 by 4 based on what sort of landscaping is going in that region. But as I mentioned, I just want to focus on getting the MILS plates made so that I can start to lay things out and then start actually sculpting these, if that's what you want to say, or like ripping apart certain sections and inserting a creek and a gravel road and elevating some regions and all that. But for some reason, being a visual person, I just want to get this entire surface or the entire city surface covered with studs. It's just like my number one goal. So I think you've seen enough of me MILS plating here, so I actually decided to turn the camera off and proceed to create more MILS plates, and by the end of the day, my back hurt, my hands hurt, and I've never built this many MILS plates. I don't know how many times I've said MILS plates in this video, but probably a lot, in one sitting in my entire life. Like, this is getting out of hand here, but hey, we're making some tremendous progress. Believe it or not, this is a grand total of 90 32 by 32 base plates. When you do the math for everything, it's 90 plates. Wild. So the 4 module ones, the 64 by 64s, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in dark bluish gray. These are going to be the base of our mountains. And then over here, we've got the green. This is just going to be the base for the countryside. But once again, when we place it, which we're going to do in this video, I'll showcase the fact that some of these are probably going to change, and a lot of the 16 by 16s will get ripped out very easily. You can see the slopes in there. And I'll replace them with 4 by 4s because maybe a creek needs to go through here and we need to embed it in the MILS plate. But just for now, I wanted to get them made with this here. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 of those, and I think I needed 14. So I didn't have enough green plate to get all 14 built, and I didn't want to start building with 4 by 4 just because it takes a lot longer and we're going to have to modify them anyway. So I didn't want to get too carried away with the preliminary MILS plate process. 32 by 32 ones, just your standard old ones there, and these ones are 64 studs by 32. So there's 3 of those. Those are for the underneath the mountain, and then this one is the weird one, that's 80 studs. And then this is all the leftover stuff. So I've still got a bunch of 16 by 16, but this is all for the countryside. It's not even for the top of the raised platforms that I plan on inserting in the city. So I'm thinking all of these light gray ones are probably going to be for the base plates in the amusement park. So I'm sort of putting those aside for that. This is the remaining base plates there. I've still got a bunch of 2 by 2 and also 4 by 4 plates. So we are set on that front, I hope. And this should get us pretty far, but for example, we had this many green. So it doesn't get you very far when you think of it like that. But we still got a bunch of dark gray left, and then I have my supply here as well. So I had that stowed away in my drawer, and then I've got some other stuff that I got from the wall. And then of course we've got other plates all throughout my inventory. So there's still quite a bit, you know, like we're going to be able to develop mountains and stuff. I don't think it's going to be enough to finish the city, like, that's for sure. And definitely it's not going to be enough to even come close to even scratching the medieval area. But I keep thinking, oh, I should have ordered more, I should have ordered more, I should have ordered more. But when I was placing this order, Jose and I had a budget in mind, which I'm not going to reveal because it was just absolutely outrageous. And we didn't want to surpass that particular budget this go around. So we got to factor that in too. But now what we should do is take all these and we should place them on the tables in the Lego City so we can start to visualize what it's going to look like. I've mentioned it in previous videos that I'm actually going away for a whole week, and I'm actually going to the home of the brick, Billund. I'm leaving tomorrow. I should probably be at home. But don't worry, my flight isn't until 5:30 tomorrow. It's like a red-eye flight to Amsterdam. So I'm going to spend my entire day at home tomorrow, hanging out with my family and hanging out with my kids and saying goodbye to them. So that's why I can work into the evening here. But I should have went home and tucked them in tonight, but I didn't. But tomorrow I'm going to be there all day with them up until my flight. So I still got to go home. I've got to pack. But I'm excited about placing these because I actually repositioned a lot of these trees here. Well, actually all of them. So these used to be like grouped together. I repositioned a lot of them on their plates so I can put them in the foreground here. So those green plates are going to fill this in nicely because they're 2 base plates. When I put 2 of them side by side, it's 4 base plates. This right here is 6.5. So we got 1.5 and then 1 right there. So that leaves 4 in the center. So those are going to fill this area quite nicely there. I want to get some of those 4x4 plates and I want to fix up these because those have been exposed for far too long. And I want to fix up this because it's driving me crazy. Those 48x48s that I built, oh, I was supposed to build 4 of them. I only built 3. Are supposed to go right here. And then, oh, I got my math wrong. That's what I did. I built 4 of these and 3 of those. It was supposed to be the opposite way. When I was down here doing my calculation, I guess I miscalculated. Darn it. Okay, well, let's place it and see what it looks like. Don't worry, this isn't the final product. It's not just going to be green plates, believe me. But it does feel good to lay these green plates. All those gray ones with all the trees on them are going to have to change. It just feels good to get this city color coded almost. Like everywhere there's green, that's where the countryside's going to be. Everywhere there's gray, that's where the mountains are going to be. You know, it just feels good to sort of get it color coded, and then I can work on each plate, chip away at it. And it's not like I'm going to build these plates where they currently sit. So what I can do is map out where the creek's going to go, where the gravel roads are going to go, and then take these plates upstairs one by one and modify them. So it's good to get these laid because then I can start to map things out on the studs, and it's going to make it easier to work on in the future. I got to cover up all these colorful bricks too. Oh yeah, even though this is going to change, it just feels good to get those concealed, and also all these ones over here as well. I just did the 3. I didn't continue past that because I don't know what's going to go on beside that train track yet. Now I have the foundation work laid for this entire section of the countryside. So where you see the dark gray, that's going to be mountains similar to the mountain over here. But I've actually decided that the grade for the mountain is actually going to start a lot further this way. So technically this area is where the grade starts. It's, what, 2 base plates away from the table edge. But I think this little ridge here is actually going to start to meander this way, and then this creek will follow along the edge of that, and this gravel road, after it gets past the A-frame cabin, is going to start going up, and this here will all be elevated similar to that. But I think it's going to be wood structures, so I'm not too concerned about having that all MILS plated. And if I have to raise up a brick here and there, or an entire plate has to be raised up a brick, it's not hard to just peel off those 16x16s and add another layer. For example, this plate is all 2 bricks. So if I need to continue with that, then I have no problem doing that. But you'll see it's 2 bricks there, and then it's right on the plate there, so we've got some depth. This one here is also 2 bricks, but we have some depth there. So I sort of dig into the MILS plate a bit. So even though there's going to be a wood structure over there, it might be nice to raise up some of these so that they're 2 or 3 bricks above. So we've got some depth to work with there. So the creek, it's going to flow through here. It's going to connect to the creek there, and then it's going to flow this way, and there's going to be another branch coming down the mountain. And the gravel road is going to come this way and start to go up the slope, and then it's going to meet another tunnel entrance, which is going to be that tunnel entrance there. And I still need to build the tunnel entrance, which will be built into this rock face right there. And the creek is also going to have a Y, so it's probably going to have a Y right about here, where it goes toward this mountain and also that mountain. Actually, it might even be like a fork, where it goes this way off the table. It goes that way toward the mountain, and it also continues that way toward the winter village, and there might be another like frozen waterfall that's slowly running off into this creek. So this creek is going to be like running all throughout here. Just like I had the creek in my old Lego city, it sort of ran around the entire perimeter, which was pretty neat. And I think that's going to work out quite nicely. But for sure, there's going to be a lot of elevation in this region. And this region is going to be home to things like the campground, which is actually going to be on that slope there. And that gravel road sort of needs to go up and meet up with the gravel road, which is going to feed throughout the campsite. And it also just connects the countryside to the downtown core through the tunnels as well. But at least now that I have the MILS plates laid, I can start to work on this stuff, and I have all the parts up there to work on it, so which is great. Like, for example, I couldn't continue working on the mountain because I didn't have any more of the support structures, but then those support structures arrived along with those 16 by 16 plates, so now I can continue working on the mountain. Of course, I could continue working on other things, placing the traffic lights and starting to detail the train yard, but it's all just part of the process of eventually getting there over time. But I feel pretty confident with this over here. When I get back from vacation, I'm going to be cutting those platforms. We're going to be inserting those platforms in here, and then I can start to gauge how many base plates I need for the platforms, which of course is going to be the foundation for the mountains that go up. And then I also need to start MILS plating all this stuff, and that's why I'm saving all those light gray 16 by 16s, because this is all going to be 16 by 16. For example, we've got 4 base plates there, so that can be another 64 by 64. That can be another 64 by 64. Then we're going to have some 48 by 48s running that way. Looks like over here there's going to be more 64 by 64s, a couple 32 by 32s. So I just need to go down or go through here, make a list of all the different MILS plates that I need to build, and then sort of go from there. And this is also going to start going up. I've talked about raising up this roller coaster 6 bricks or something, and I've talked about raising up that haunted mansion right there, maybe like 10 bricks, so it's actually built into the mountain, because these platform coverings are going to transition into a more, like, it's transitioning out of the platform coverings right there, and then this is going to become more of like a actual mountain that goes up. Yeah, I don't think I have nearly enough bricks up there, honestly. I don't think I ordered enough. It's gonna be a process though. Like, this stuff doesn't happen like overnight, and it's gonna take me a long time to consume all those pieces up there. And by the time I consume all those pieces up there, well, then I'm gonna feel comfortable enough to place another order and order more parts. So at least there's enough pieces up there for the bulk of it, and I can get the bulk of this stuff done, which is gonna be great. So as soon as I get back from vacay, well, it's not really vacay, it's a work-K, because I'm actually going to Billund, the home of the brick, right? So it's going to be pretty cool seeing all the other Lego influencers, talking with the heads of LAN, I guess, and also meeting all the Lego designers, seeing all the new products coming out and all that, and filming content while I'm there. And then when I get back, it's Lego City time. Yeah. Excited that I was able to build those plates. I know it's not much, but hey, it looks better than the exposed table. It's good. All right, well, I'm going to go home and hang out with my wife and then hang out with my kids in the morning, and off I go to Billund, the home of the brick. Going to be pretty cool. Got as much done today as I could. Had to like pack and all that too. Actually, to tell you the truth, I haven't packed yet. So I should probably do that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Farewell.